If you want more signups for your SaaS business and real long-term growth, then SEO isn't really optional. I've recently sold my SaaS business after growing it to just over £1 million in revenue, and SEO was the only marketing channel that we focused on. But you've probably heard that SEO is dead now and AI has made it impossible to generate organic leads. Well, my business is still attracting more than 100,000 organic visitors every month and generating a six-figure revenue stream for its new owners. So I'm going to share a simple three-step SEO process that any SaaS company can use to grow leads, signups, and revenue in 2026. And this video is part of a SaaS growth series I'm making, where I'm sharing everything that I learned from growing and selling one of the UK's biggest CV builder SaaS platforms. So if you're trying to grow a SaaS product, it may be worth subscribing. I call this process search, solve, sell. And we used it at my SaaS company, Standout CV, to attract over 20,000 customers. And not only did it drive sales and revenue, but it turned the website into an asset that made the business very attractive to buyers and investors. And although SEO is often made out to be really complex, this process is actually very simple. You just have to understand what your customers are searching for, solve their problems, and guide them towards buying your product. The problem, however, is that most companies usually get at least one of those steps completely wrong. So let's start with search. The quickest way to start generating leads from SEO is to focus on these middle and bottom funnel searches. At the top of the funnel, you've got very specific task-related searches like how to run payroll for a global team. Now, this will attract your ideal customer, but not at the right time. And nowadays, these type of queries are often answered directly in AI search tools without people ever clicking through to your website. But at the middle of the funnel, you're getting a bit warmer. You've got commercial queries like best payroll software for small businesses. And this is where people are researching products, so they're getting much closer to making that purchase. At Standout CV, we focused on middle funnel CV template searches, and this resulted in hundreds of product trials every day. Then at the bottom of the funnel, you've got purely transactional queries like payroll software. And these are the searches where people are often minutes from making a purchase. But to give yourself the very best chance of ranking for these keywords, start with low competition searches first. Use a search tool like Ahrefs to show you which terms your site can realistically rank for, because even a great keyword will be useless if you can't get onto page one. So now that we're targeting the right keywords, let's look at how to rank for them. To rank your content at the top of Google, you just need to solve users' problems better than your competitors do. Now, I know that sounds obvious, and a lot of SaaS companies think that they're already doing it, but they're not. Most websites rely too heavily on AI or inexperienced writers, and their content is simply bland rehashes of other pages. There, I said it. Users have become sick of this type of content. Google's recent updates increasingly reward content that shows original insights, real experience, and something that actually helps the user. So if your content could be replaced by an AI generated summary of the top 10 existing results, then it's probably not good enough. Instead of taking the old school SEO approach of obsessing over word count and keyword density, just ask yourself this: what could we add to the content that nobody else can? For a SaaS company, that could be the founder's story. It could be some original research, some customer data. It could be case studies or product screenshots. At Standout CV, we added interactive CV examples, original explainer diagrams, and real insights from my previous experience working in recruitment. Please don't hold that against me, it was just a job. This made our content extremely helpful to users, and it still outranks global brands and gets mentioned in AI search tools. So if you can create genuinely useful content and present it on a well-designed page, then you have a very good chance of ranking highly. And while very few companies get this right, many of the ones that do still forget the most important step, turning that traffic into customers. Now your content is ranking and there are crowds of potential buyers on your website. But this is where most companies make the most painfully obvious mistake. They make it difficult for users to try the product. If somebody has just spent 5 minutes reading your content, they shouldn't be left wondering what to do next. The content should naturally carry them through to a trial or demo of your product. I'm a firm believer that there should always be a visible, persuasive call to action on the screen so that users don't have to scroll around trying to find it. So I'm a big fan of floating CTAs used in combination with static CTAs throughout the page. Some people may find that overkill, but I can assure you it will maximize conversions as long as it doesn't interfere with the reading experience. You should also promote the benefits of the product within the content itself and include relevant text links to guide some of the more detail-oriented readers through to the next step. Then there's the transition between the page and the product. And this is where a lot of SaaS companies throw away conversions right at the last minute, with surprisingly common but costly mistakes like making people click 4 or 5 times before they can even access the product, asking them to fill out a 20-field form just to start a trial, or forcing users to talk to sales before they've even previewed the product. You cannot afford to interrupt the customer's path like that at this stage. You have to make it ridiculously easy for people to experience the product. Even if you don't offer a full free trial, they should be able to preview enough to understand how it solves their problem. At Standout CV, our CTAs sent users straight into the template selection stage. So within seconds, they could see that the product was a good solution for them and that it was easy and even quite fun to use, which led to a much higher conversion rate than if we had hidden it behind a login. The easier you make it for people to experience your product, the more leads your traffic will generate. If you follow those 3 steps consistently, SEO will become the biggest lead generation channel in your business. Now, if you're wondering when your SaaS business should actually start investing in SEO and what results you can expect, then I would recommend watching this video next.